May the 4th be with you, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to Monday. Welcome to Quarantown. And welcome to a special edition of Quarantown because it's May the 4th. I figured, why not have some fun today? And instead of going to some real life places, we're going to go to some Star Wars places. And if you're not a fan of Star Wars, that's okay. Hopefully you're a fan of coffee. I do want to say at the top here, for anybody just tuning in, we do this every Monday since we've all been on lockdown and not being able to travel the world. I came up with this show called Quarantown to we could all travel the world together from the safety of our couches, wherever we are, we can all travel the world together. And we've been looking in on some really cool places on live webcams and some zoos and some museums as of late. But today, I wanted to celebrate May the 4th by having some Star Wars fun and going around. So in those comments, hello everybody to Facebook, Twitter, or Twitch, and on YouTube. Everybody in those comments, let me know what your favorite Star Wars movie is, or maybe your favorite Star Wars character. Can you guys guess what my favorite Star Wars character is? I'll give you 3 guesses, and the first 2 don't count. How's that? I do hope that you guys, like I said, are all having a wonderful Monday. Before we jump into some fun, some Star Wars fun here, I do want to mention, going over to deathwishcoffee.com, we got some brand new merchandise, including our Mother's Day bundle. Mother's Day is right around the corner, as well as our awesome charity t-shirts in 2 different styles, and 100% of the profits are going to local businesses and local people out of work here in the capital region in New York. And I'm seeing all these comments go by. I'm not using my normal program where I can put them up on the screen, but I'll try to shout you out as I see it. I see a lot of people liking Boba Fett, The Mandalorian, Mr. Vader himself. I see all sorts of stuff. So yeah, let me keep knowing what your favorite are. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to go through some of the places, some of my favorite places in the Star Wars universe. There's so many when you really think about it. There's just so many places that we've been to in 9 movies, a couple cartoon shows, books, comic books, so many different things. Now television shows, so many different places. The first and foremost, probably the most badass place in the Star Wars universe that we're going to go to first is Mustafar. Now, Mustafar, a lot of people don't even know the name of this planet because it was only hinted at in the original trilogies. This is a small lava world that is basically considered on the outer territories. And it used to be very lush and green, but it was ravaged by an ancient artifact, basically a Romeo and Juliet story. And it was turned into this lava-laden world that you see right now. And it was also home to a ton of different things. The Sith have been there. Vader has his castle, which I believe I have a photo of right here. Yeah, that's Vader's castle, which, again, was hinted at in the original series. We got to see a little bit of it in Rogue One, which was really rad. And also, one of the coolest sequences ever was also on Mustafar. Before Vader was even Vader, when he was still Anakin Skywalker, before he had this castle here, before any of that happened, there was that epic fight.
I have the high ground! You underestimate my power!
And, I mean, I'm not going to play it too much and get in trouble, but that was the fight between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker that basically, for lack of, a lot more explanation, created Darth Vader because he kind of lost that fight, Anakin did. And he ended up living in this crazy, crazy fortress on this lava world. I mean, I don't know if I'd ever want to go there. I don't know about any of you guys. I don't think I'd ever want to go there. But I do see a lot of those comments over on Facebook saying that a lot of people are saying, how the original trilogy are their favorites. In fact, Becky, I see your comments saying, it always has a place in your heart because Princess Leia is your favorite. Princess Leia was my fave too, not just the character, but also Carrie Fisher herself was just amazing. And, I've said this before, and I'm going to preface this. What's great about the Star Wars world is you can get in on it wherever it is. If you grew up on the originals like I did or many of you did, and those are your gateways into the Star Wars world, that's awesome. But if you're, just discovering Star Wars because of the newer movies with Rey and Finn and all of them, or maybe you're getting into it because of the cartoons, the Incredible Attack of the Clones series just finished up on Disney Plus, actually. However you're getting into it, maybe the novels, maybe the comics from Marvel Comics. Some of the original comics are amazing, and they just redid them all too. So good. So however you're getting into Star Wars, it doesn't matter. Welcome to Star Wars. So the next place we're going to go in Quarantown today, in May the 4th Star Wars land, is we're going to go all the way from a lava world to the exact polar opposite, and polar is a pun. We're going to Hoth. Hoth is that icy, remote planet that really nothing was happening on until the rebels decided to put their base of operations there, Echo Base. And that was so they wouldn't get found out by the Empire. And they ran that base for a while, trying to hide. That was when, in Empire Strikes Back, when Han Solo and Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia were all generals, basically, in the Rebel Alliance at that point. But unfortunately, the Empire found them. And one of my favorite sequences ever is that fight sequence from Hoth in the Hoth battle.
Javi, you still with me?
So cool. Anybody out there who happens to have Disney Plus, the entire Skywalker saga, as they're calling it right now, all 9 movies are available on Disney Plus, as well as the brand new Mandalorian series, which you can tell that I like because I happen to really like those types of things. Look at that. Kills my green screen when I do that. And, so you can check out all these things. I've been thinking about it all day, wanting to rewatch all the movies myself, which I probably will do. So, speaking of other places we can go, how about a relatively new world that we learned about in the newer series called Jakku? Now, Jakku is another isolated, remote planet. Very, very few settlements there. Very different, kind of thing, like mining explorations and a lot of scavengers. Because it was actually the site of the last major battle in what happened of the Galactic Empire fighting the rebels. And we never saw that on screen. We never saw any of that go down. But it was the last battle of it, and the reason why we know that is because Galactic Empire lost, and all of their ships now line the desert land that's there. And it's one of those diamond in the rough planets. That's what I love about the Star Wars canon and the stories that they tell. It's all about, all these different themes that permeate not only the characters, but the places that you go to, like the different planets. Like this planet, basically in Star Wars lore, means nothing. Nobody wants to live there. Nobody wants to go there. Nobody really cares about it. Yet it literally had some of the biggest parts of this entire story happen at that moment. I mean, that's, Rey finding herself there. BB-8 and Finn crash landing and finding themselves there. BB-8 having the map to Luke Skywalker. Even the Millennium Falcon itself was found to be on this actual planet. You want to talk about favorite characters in Star Wars? One of my favorite characters of all time in the entire Star Wars is the Millennium Falcon. And I know that sounds weird because it's just a spaceship, but it is probably the coolest spaceship there is. And also it permeates every single story. It is like that MacGuffin that you need to keep everything going, and sometimes it is literally the thing that saves the day. So, anyway, I hope you guys are having a good time. Like I said, I wanted to do something a little fun for Quarantown this week, being that this comes out on May the 4th. Instead of looking in at some real places, we could look in at some of our favorite places from Star Wars. And speaking of, one of the most mysterious places in Star Wars is definitely the planet Dagobah. Now, Dagobah is another one of those places where nobody wants to live. In fact, nobody can even live there. It's so bogs and mist covered, and like you can't put a settlement really there. But what's crazy about Dagobah is that we obviously saw that in Empire Strikes Back when Luke crash landed his X-Wing, as you see in that photo right there, and met Jedi Master, Grandmaster Yoda. Yoda actually exiled himself there after the terrible, terrible Executive Order 66, which basically wiped out all of the Jedi after Revenge of the Sith, the third of the prequel movies, and the Jedi were basically wiped out, so Yoda went into exile to keep the dream alive for all of that. And what a cool set, what a cool planet, and that whole sequence with Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill interacting with Yoda, which is basically just a Muppet, voiced and manipulated by Frank Oz, the same guy who does Miss Piggy and Fozzie Bear. It's absolutely incredible. I 100% recommend, if you haven't seen any of the making of Empire, especially this sequence, it's incredible to see if you're into Muppets and you're into like puppets and that kind of stuff. And yes, Isabel over on Facebook said, "Do not remove the helmet." I'm trying to do the entire thing without removing the helmet. This is the way. I hope it sounds okay. I've got a weird mic in here, and I know I keep phasing in and out with the green screen, but I think I'm doing all right for doing this in my den at my house. I hope you guys are having some fun here. Hot take over on Facebook. Hot take. Jar Jar Binks was awesome, says Linda. You are one of the few. I remember, quick story, I remember in 99 when Phantom Menace came into theaters. I was so excited because, Star Wars fan my whole life. And I was in college at the time, and me and all my friends went opening night, midnight showing of Phantom Menace. And so excited for that. And as we walked out of the theater, everybody who walked out of that theater had one thing to talk about, and it was how much they hated Jar Jar Binks. So he has become a hated thing, but he has redeemed himself in comics, also on the Clone Wars, the animated series there. He has redeemed himself, so that's pretty cool too. So another world out there in the Star Wars universe that is super famous, one of the most known, in fact, for people who might not be fans of Star Wars would probably still know this, that would be the world of Tatooine. Now we're in Tatooine. Isn't this great? Quarantown, we can just zip around the Star Wars universe all together without ever leaving our homes. Or maybe you're watching me in the shower. I don't know. I don't know how you consume content. Maybe, who knows how you do it. Maybe you're taking a break from work. Maybe I'm just glad that you're here and we're all enjoying this together. Anyway, Tatooine is that planet that basically the entire series started out on. Home to Jawas and Tusken Raiders. It has those two ominous suns that really beat down on the planet and make it a desert world. Nobody really wants to live there. The famous Mos Eisley Cantina is there, actually, that gets all sorts of scum and villainy of the universe, including Han Solo. We meet Han and Chewie there. Actually, what's incredible about Tatooine is it really embodies that, where nothing should have ever happened on this planet. Yet, Anakin Skywalker was born and grew up to a little kid on this planet and then eventually left. Luke Skywalker lived with his aunt and uncle in that house right there, and basically grew up into a teenager before he left as well. R2-D2 and C-3PO, through happenstance and circumstance, and fate, basically crash landed on the planet with plans for Obi-Wan, who is also on this planet watching over Luke, which is pretty crazy. Even, like running away from Darth Vader and Princess Leia to get there. It's just it's fate. It's good writing, and that's why we're all fans of this for sure. So finally, last place we're going to go to today is Endor. Endor is another fan favorite. And again, when I was coming up with these today, I was like, I came up with a list of like 30 planets, and I was like, no, we don't. I don't want to look for all these planets, and I don't want to take up all your time today because we all have Star Wars to go watch. But I wanted you guys to come and have some fun, and on your Monday afternoon with me. But Endor, as you all know, is that dense, lush moon where raiders would actually go. This is funny. This is from the books. People would from all over the universe, the Star Wars universe, would come to hunt these guys, these Ewoks, and then make Ewok jerky because it was a delicacy in the Star Wars universe. How crazy is that? Thankfully, that was never in the movies. What was in the movies, though, at the end of the Galactic Empire fighting the rebels, they actually set up a base there with a shield deflector system that was going to protect the Death Star, the second Death Star that they made. And of course, spoiler alert, that failed, and the Empire was no more. And but all sorts of fun stuff happened on this with the rebels, Luke, Leia, and Han working with the Ewoks, and so many amazing action sequences. Like that speeder bike race. And what's cool talking about real life places, if you want to check out where that was filmed, actually all these places obviously were filmed on Earth. Haha. But you can actually travel the world. Star Wars was filmed all over the world. All 9 movies have been filmed so many different places. But that speeder bike chase from Endor, that's Grizzly Creek State Park in California. And you can go there and literally walk among those giant trees and feel like you're on Endor. It's a bucket list thing for me for sure. I've been to it's in Northern California. I've been to Northern California once in my life when I was younger, and I'm hopefully going to go back specifically to walk around Endor. I do hope that you guys all had a good time today. I know this was kind of weird. It being Star Wars Day, being May the 4th, I wanted to have some fun. I just got my brand new helmet, so I wanted to wear it in reverence of my favorite character from the movies. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Monday. Like I said at the beginning, make sure you go on over to deathwishcoffee.com. We have some, obviously, of the world's strongest coffee, but we have some amazing merchandise too. Mother's Day is right around the corner. We have a really cool Mother's Day bundle that's available now. And also, we've got 2 brand new charity t-shirts where 100% of those profits from those t-shirts are going to help people in need in the capital region, right in our backyard, right where we're based here in New York State. And we're hoping to raise $75,000 from these sales, and we're halfway there thanks to all of you guys. I can't thank you guys enough for everything that you guys do, for liking what we do here at Death Wish Coffee. And we'll be back soon. I'll be back on Wednesday with an update and a lot more fun. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the day. May the 4th be with you.